Here we are again. Look, you alive, fam. You got life in your body. So this what we about to do. We about to get into momentum. Welcome to another supersonic morning momentum. I'm your host, Jared Walker. And listen, I want to remind you that whether you woke up on purpose or not, you still woke up with purpose attached to your life. I will go as far as to say it's assigned to you. So the question is, how intentional are you willing to be about it? We woke up with the ability to go out and say something that's going to add value or is going to depreciate it. You woke up with the ability to speak death or speak life. You woke up, fam. I don't want to just slide past that. You woke up and you still here. So since you woke up, and you still here, let's go ahead. Before I get started, let's get into momentum. Here we go. Ah, come on now. Let's get focused. Make your mind up before you make your bed up. If you already made your bed up, let's get intentional. Let's get it. Hey, this is getting into momentum, fam. That's what it's all about. Let's get focused. When we get there, let's stay there. Let's stay focused. Woo! Hey, listen, fam, you have all types of opportunities in front of you. The question is, which ones are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on the things that actually serve you at a high level or somebody else? Or are you going to focus on the things that are of no use? They're of no service. There's no purpose behind them. Nothing that's going to be useful for you. Because what you focus on is what you will talk about. And what you speak about is evidence of what's on your mind. And what's on your mind is more than likely what's dwelling deep within your heart. So when we're dealing with the issues of the heart, then we're dealing with desires. So what are you desiring today? What are you anticipating? What are you most overwhelmed by, most underwhelmed by, or most nervous about, or most excited for? Just flat out, you're looking for, you're anticipating, you're expecting. Because whatever you are expecting is going to give evidence of what it is that you focused on, and whatever you focus on is going to produce every word that more than likely comes out of your mouth. And then from that, that's how you get the actual benefits of speaking. What are the benefits of speaking? Well, there are a multiplicity of benefits of speaking, but the benefits I want to focus on are the benefits of speaking life. So you got a lot of people that really just be out here just talking. And I get it, if you're taught to just open your mouth and just say whatever comes to your mind, there's a place for that. But if you are intentional about your speech, if you are intentional about the words that come out of your mouth, then you are the person that is operating as someone who can heal. And there are those who need your healing today. They need to know that, man, I actually have everything that I need. And it's not because of what I can see, but it's because I got you in my corner. Whose corner you gonna be in today? Who you gonna help to get their mind right today just by showing up? By you being that friend, by you being that support, by you being that individual who helps them to get through what they're going through. Even though you're the only one that understands in their mind, but you're not. But you're the only one that they trust. Who is it that you're gonna push forward today with your words? I'm not talking about you physically being present and all of that stuff. I'm talking about because you opened your mouth and you said something to them. It gave them the encouragement they needed. It provided them with the power they needed, the momentum that they needed from you. Because when you speak, it should be life. Now, here's the thing. There's a couple of proverbs that I can give you, but one of them right here. It says, anxiety in a man's heart weighs it down, but a good word makes it glad. And if you want to be the person that is actually uplifting, encouraging, inspiring, empowering, motivating those who are in your life, then you must be aware that that's done through the words that come out of your mouth. If you want to make sure that the good that you have inside of you is able to come out, then you got to make sure that you're focused on that which can encourage, edify, and uplift. If you're not speaking life, then by default, you either A, need to unmute yourself to do so, or B, you're speaking death. And we got to fix that. There's another one that says, from the fruit of a man's mouth, he enjoys good. Ooh, you want to enjoy good? Then make sure that what comes out of your mouth is good. But that's not the end of that. Oh no. It says, but the desire of the treacherous is violence. It's like, sheesh. The desire of somebody who is treacherous is violence. It means what comes out of their mouth is violent speech. And that's because of what's on their heart and what's on their mind. And violence is not simply, oh, I'm beating people up and I'm hurting people and all that stuff. No. Violence is also when you speak in a way that is so harsh and so rash, it tears people down and it causes pain to be inflicted and potentially harm and hurt. So when we're talking about the treacherous individual, what comes out of their mouth, that ain't building nobody up. They just trying to take and make. People do what they want. But that's not how we move whenever we are intentional. It's not how we move when we speak in life. That's not how we move when we are the ones that are healing those with our words. When you can make somebody whole again, fam, this is a part of healing. That's what to be healthy is, to be whole. So if you can heal, then this means that you can make someone whole by doing what? Getting their mind focused on that which is of value, which is of use. And if we make a person aware of the power that's inside of them, if we make a person aware of the strength that they already had, if we make a person aware that you ain't got to do this by yourself, I got your back. If you do that, this is how you alleviate. This is how you relieve. This is how you assist. This is where the real help comes from. And if you want to be helpful, that means you want to be useful. And people who are useful and helpful are valuable and fruitful. So you get to be useful by the fruit that comes from out of your mouth. And if that's something that you value, then that means you value you. And if you value you, then that means you can value those who remind you of what it is that you've been through. And you understand what it is that you needed at the time when you were going through what they're going through. And you got the answers. You got the answers. So if you know you got the answers, you know you have the perspective, you know you have the power to say something, the ability to say something, then go ahead and open up your mouth and unmute yourself and let them know. Let them know. Let them know they got this and why they got this and how you got them. This is the basic, simple stuff, y'all. The people in your life that's all around you, go ahead and encourage them today and find out what happens. Go ahead and support them, push them forward. I'm about to go make sure I show my wife some love today. One, because it's date night, but two, because I'm realizing like I don't like to just say stuff and then not practice it. I gotta practice what I preach, right? I don't want to be a hypocrite. Well, shoot, it's like, man, if you are the person that's actually pushing someone towards the best version of themselves, while not, being overwhelming, I think that's pretty helpful. What would you say? Yeah, I think that's pretty helpful because if it's helpful, it's useful. If it's useful, it's valuable. If it's valuable, it's fruitful. If it's fruitful, guess what? It came from out of you because fruit is a byproduct of work that was done yesterday, not today. Well, we talk about seeds that was planted and results that were gained. It took time. But when you there, when you here, when you where you supposed to be, oh man, well, you can get out your head. What's that? Get out your head. Get out your head and stop thinking about, oh, well, who am I? Or, no one wants to hear me. Or I just don't know. Or I don't. Stop that. The things that you judge yourself on are the things that people would judge you for not saying something about. There are people who will literally be upset if they find out you were downplaying what you had to offer them. They're like, man, why are you withholding? I feel like you robbing me. I feel like you shortchanging me. Go ahead and say something because what comes out of your mouth is exactly what they may need. Because if you are focusing on speaking life, then boom, we good. But if you ain't trying to speak life, I'm not even going to entertain that right now. All I know is if you don't want to be someone who is perceived as treacherous, then be the person who is fruitful with the truth that they choose to speak. Remember, the truth will set you free. Therefore, a lie will set you up. And if you want to be the person that gets to free people instead of setting them up with lies, then go ahead and open up your mouth, fam. Let a person know that they got something that you need. And that's the actual ear to hear what it is that you have to say so that you can add value to their day. If you help a person overcome the anxiety that's inside of them, then you are the person that helps them to get through something that they may need just so they can get to the next piece of their destination. There are people who are in need of what you have to say, as well as show them. Let your demonstration be your explanation. But there are people who need you right now just to show up and say what they need to hear so that you can pass that baton to them as if y'all were running in a track meet. Because they'll take exactly what it is that you gave them and they got the energy now. They got the momentum to go off and go give to whomever it is they need to give to. It ain't just about the one-off interactions, fam. This is also why, the why behind it. Sometimes you are a part of somebody else's why. Oh, yeah. This is why you need to unmute yourself. This is why you need to go ahead and take ownership of your voice, fam. Don't let nobody take, listen, your voice and your story is your God-given authority. And if you open up your mouth and you speak and you choose to speak life, then you are only operating in the gifts that have been given to you. And if you are withholding gifts, what are you doing? That ain't no way to live. Go ahead and yield those gifts, yield the fruit. Go ahead and give that over to whom it is for so that you can help them get through that next open door. If you don't open up your mouth, you have no idea how many people you are actually holding back. It's like being assigned to somebody during a class project. Remember those back in the day? You actually got a whole project and everybody is assigned their specific role. But you in the group, right? Well, hold on, wait a minute. Well, you in the group. Wait, what? Are you doing your part? Because if you're not doing your part, then they can't even get the job done. And you might be the specific person that needs to do a specific part. Because they don't have that talent. They don't have that skill. They don't have that knowledge. They don't have that understanding. They're not you. Well, if you prevent someone from getting the actual grade that they deserve, from getting the achievement, from accomplishing the thing that like that's what they doing their part. If you are not doing your part, you have no idea how many people you are holding up, how many people are waiting on you. Ooh-wee. There's someone waiting on you so they can get to go do what they supposed to do. But if you don't say what you need to say today, you are holding them up. You are hindering them unintentionally. And if that's not what you desire to do, let's go ahead and get in momentum and get focused and understand that, listen, somebody waiting on you today. Yeah, you're not somebody that gets to just play it small. Own your voice. Own your story. Own your narrative. Speak that life. Give what you have to offer. And I guarantee you, if you do it right, you'll be, if my wife say, do it right, we'll be all right. So if you do it right, you'll be all right. If you can't speak the right way and you don't know how to talk, I think I need to actually do a whole. Listen, if you would like to learn how you can communicate in such a way that it causes people to transform and change, type love in the chat. And that's something I'm gonna definitely focus on. Because if that's what you need help with, how to love people, listen, love is not this ooey gooey. Oh my goodness, this feels so good. That's an aspect of love that ain't love, fam. When we talking about love, we're talking about learning to observe the value in everyone. LOVE. And there's a whole process to that. That's not just it's so simple. Nah, love ain't simple. Love is very complex and it can be complicated because people are that way. And if you understand how to love and you do it the right way in context of who you're dealing with, your conversation and the words that flow out of your mouth will literally be life changing. And if you want to change lives just by speaking, then listen, don't you know that you've been changing lives since the moment you opened up your mouth, the moment you exited the womb? When you came out crying and whatnot, I remember when my daughter was born, firstborn. She came out, she wasn't crying, y'all. And it scared the crap out of me. She wasn't crying. Their eyes are closed. So I was just like, oh my goodness. But whenever she breathed in the open air for the first time. Of course, there was a cry, and that cry let me know that she was alive. Well, there are some people who need to know that you are alive and you need to cry out. And I'm not talking about acting as if you are an infant who is taking their first breath. I'm talking about you operating in your authority with your voice and giving people the right and the understanding that they can breathe too by giving them the breath that they need by simply speaking what you have to give. You literally have a whole identity that can be so life-changing and life-shifting. All you have to do is unmute yourself. Would you be willing to do that though? Because if you unmute yourself and you provide perspective that somebody is in need of, then that makes you the person that you are always capable of being, and that is valuable. And if you want to be intentional about this day, go ahead and get intentional about the value that you have to relay or display, however you want to go about it. But you better unmute yourself if you want to do it. You can't, it's kind of weird if somebody just walks up to you, they know they're valuable, and they just look at you and just stare. They might even smile at you. But then it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, what do you want? What are you doing? What are we doing? So if you want to actually help somebody, you got to open up your mouth and speak the life that you have to give them. Don't just stand there and stare at them. And I know it sounds kind of funny, but that's exactly what many of us are doing. We get into the presence of so many different people and we just stare at them, not realizing that's what we're doing. And the craziest part about it all is they know that there was something that you had to offer them and you just never opened up your mouth. So now they're confused. It's like, well, I thought you were, I felt like you were, I just got this feeling from you and the vibe was right, but you got scared. You thought, oh, they don't want to hear me. They probably, so you second guess, you overthink and you overwhelm and then you underwhelm because you undervalue what? Your own voice. There's a perspective that's attached to you that people already see from their point of view. The question is, how often are you going to literally minimalize it, and act as if they aren't seeing what they're seeing? They're not crazy, fam. They're seeing the value in you. You just can't see it. And oh, diggity do, well, back. Whatever. Who cares that you don't see it? You got enough people telling you they see it. And if you have 1,000 people telling you the same thing over and over and over again about yourself, you might want to consider it. Because if you're blind to see you appropriately, that means there's a chance that you need to do more listening than speaking anyways. Because what you need to hear is going to help you to speak what you need to speak. So if you can see you effectively and appropriately, that's because the presentation of you has been provided by other people's point of view. When you see you appropriately, you see value, you see transformation, you see power, you see value that is a higher level that you can't even comprehend it. It's as if it was glory that's just exuberating from all around you. It's all over you. They see it, you can't. Now, why is that? Why can't you see you the way that you should, in the way that you could? It might be because you have not unmuted yourself. Let me tell you how that can work. If you unmute yourself, there are people who are going to run. They're going to get out of Dodge because they can't handle it. They don't want to hear what you have to say. Why? Because it is literally convicting them. If all you doing is speaking life, they don't want to hear that. Why? Because they too busy tearing themselves down. They don't want to hear the life-giving words. But if you unmute yourself and they leave, they weren't meant to be there anyways. At least not for long. They got what they needed, but they didn't want it, so they rejected it. That's not your problem. That's not your responsibility. You're not responsible for somebody else's belief. You're not responsible for someone else's attitude. You're not responsible for anybody else's thoughts. You're not responsible for anybody else's habits. It's none of your business. Those are boundaries, fam. So if you understand that the moment you opened up your mouth, they left, then it's like, okay, cool. I just freed myself from those who were meant to flee a long time ago. Okay. Okay. What about those who come closer because you opened up your mouth, because you unmuted yourself? What about them? What about the ones that come flocking to you because you unmuted yourself? What about them? What about the ones that have literally been waiting for you to finally open up your mouth? And the moment you did it, it freed them. And they didn't even know What they didn't know, you were the one they were waiting for. You know those movies, you watch this whole journey that's taking place, and you watch these heroes become who they're going to become, and there's someone that is looking for something only to find out that who they and what they had been looking for was those who are already closest to them the whole time. What would you do if you found out you were the hero in somebody else's journey, and that y'all were working together as the actual heroes of the whole story? It may only be a chapter. If it's a movie, it might only be part one of who knows how many, like Mission Impossible or Die Hard. But the whole point is, if you found out that you were the protagonist that was connected to other protagonists that were meant to go out and have their own spin-off series and seasons and all of that stuff, then all you need to do is unmute yourself so they can identify who it is they've been looking for and waiting for. It's you, fam. They've been waiting on you. And I'm somebody, listen, I'm the kettle calling the kettle black. There's a lot of people been waiting on me, but it wasn't until I decided to finally unmute myself that I realized everything that I'm telling you is not theory. I'm telling you exactly how it is that I have been witnessing and watching life take place. Oh, man. Oh, snap. We got Shauna. Good morning. Yes. All right, Ishmael. I feel you. I'm participating and sharing my journey with others. I would love to know your thoughts on how I can get my message to a broader audience. Ooh, they may be looking for my message. But, bruh, man, you have no idea what you just said to me in a good way. Man, this is what I do. These morning momentums are about me getting people into momentum, getting them focused, but that is exactly a part of what I do, brother. Reach out to me, DM me, and we can talk. What I also know is this. If you know somebody is waiting on you and they're looking for you, then you have the responsibility to reveal yourself. Reveal yourself. Because the moment you reveal yourself, now they'll see like, oh my goodness, it was you. It was you the whole time. If you find out that the people in your life that are supposed to be there are the ones you were supposed to have already asked questions of, asked help from the whole time, you'll realize that, man, I thought I was behind, but nah, I was right on time. See, the support that you had as you were going through your journey was evident the moment you realized they were there the whole time. And don't downplay yourself. You were there for them too. You have no idea the support that you may be providing and producing just by being you. You have no idea how many people are literally growing and developing just by watching you go through your story, go through your journey. They're watching you and they're witnessing you experience all that you are experiencing, and they are sometimes living vicariously through you. And as they witness and as they watch and as they grow and as they actually see, some of them sitting back grabbing some snacks and watching. It's like a movie. And they're seeing everything that's happening. And it's like, oh, wow, what's going to happen next? Well, if you unmute yourself, you can tell them. Find out next time on such and such. But if they actually have a front row seat, there are people that were meant to have that seat, and that's why they're there. And they're just waiting on you to get to wherever you think there is. Listen, there is no there, by the way. I heard that from Myron Golden. There is no there. You're already here. You are there. You are him. You are her. It's just a matter of pulling out that which is inside of you so that you can be intentional about every aspect of the value that is there. So if you want to be more intentional with anything, the number one thing you got to get intentional about is your belief. Yep. Because what you believe, you will behave according to what you believe. And if you downplay yourself, then you're going to act as if you are an amateur. You don't have to be no amateur. You don't have to be a novice. You can be a whole pro. See, amateurs are people who literally have a good idea on how things can work and all that stuff. And some of them are very skilled. However, they're not trying to actually do anything with it. They're just sitting on it. They're the people who actually have everything that somebody needs, but they're amateurs. They're dilettantes. That's another word for it. And they got all of these skills and they got all of this stuff. They got all these tools, but they don't use them. You don't have to be an amateur. You gained everything that you gained so that you can put it to use so that you can go out there and add value and produce it. You are the architect of your actual future. You are the person that gets to behave in a way that causes other people to believe differently about themselves. But you got to unmute yourself. How do you unmute yourself? You take hold of the power that you have. What do? How do you do that? Man, you follow wisdom. What's the wise thing you can do? It says from the fruit of a man's mouth he enjoys good, but the desire of the treacherous is violence. If you want to live an intentional life that is full of greatness, then you got to show that greatness, because the wisdom that you apply is evidence of how great you are. But if you can't apply wisdom, then you got to turn the other way, because that foolishness and that folly is the actual reason that you are struggling the way that you are. You don't have to struggle. If you choose the WISE, walk in simplicity every day, this requires you to simply unmute yourself, speak. The people that ain't supposed to be there will leave. The people that are supposed to be there will stay. And the people that are looking for you will find you, because you finally opened up your mouth. You have the Batman signal. The beacon is in the air, and they are looking for it, and they finally find it, and now they know who to follow and how to follow. Whew. Y'all got me fired up this morning. So what I am saying is, unmuting yourself is the first step to growing exactly what it is that is meant to grow, that's inside of you. That fruit that's meant to be produced, you need some other people to come in and actually cultivate that garden. It's not just your work. And then you need people to go ahead and take what needs to be taken. That way they can put it to use, because it wasn't for you. And then if you get so intentional about your day every single day, because remember, whether you woke up on purpose or not, you still woke up with purpose attached to your life. Question is, how intentional are you going to be about it? Are you going to be intentional about your voice? Are you going to be intentional about taking control, literally regaining that which belongs to you? And that is control over your narrative. Don't let nobody else hijack that from you, fam. So unmute yourself. Speak life. Give people exactly what they need. And at that point, you will be operating according to the identity that was given to you by the one that created you, the one whose image you were created in. The opportunities are right in front of you, and there are multiplicity of them. All you have to do is unmute yourself. And when you unmute yourself, make sure you're speaking life, because death and life are in the power of the tongue, but he who loves it shall eat of its fruit. And if you want to eat of good fruit, if you want to be fruitful, if you want to be useful, if you want to function within the value that is inside of you, then unmute yourself and speak life. And if you don't know how to do that, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. And I tell you what, I think I've said enough. I want to go on more and more. So I will leave you with this. I'm about to start shifting these supersonic morning momentums to a platform called Stationhead. And on Stationhead, I'll be able to play not only my music, because every song you hear, I created that. Every one of them. Because I own my voice and I own my sound as well. And if you don't own your sound, somebody else does. And if they do, that means you're not getting paid when people press play. So if you haven't given somebody permission to pay you, that means you've only given them permission to play you when it comes to your content on these internet streets. And that's a different conversation for a different day. But understand that you can be what I call the sonic CEO. However, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get up off of here, get focused, stay focused. If you want to be part of that actual listening party on a morning, day-to-day basis, then DM me and I'll make sure I shoot you that Stationhead. That way you can hear the music. That way you can hear the message. That way you can get the focus that you need, and it can just be in your pocket. You know, you seeing me and all that stuff right here, but you might want to just go ahead about your day while hearing me, while doing what it is you're doing, so you can stay focused, as I always say. Outside of that, listen, y'all, much love. You got this. Stay focused. Speak life. Don't waste time doing anything less than that. Y'all take care.